I'm making this video as a documentation and journal for myself and future self in case I forget about this concept and principle, because this video will solve any problem in life. Yes, you heard me right. Any problem in life that I will come across or you will come across, this video will help you to solve that problem. I know this sounds too much, but trust me, it took me a while in loneliness and disappearing, and I had to ask so many critical questions, read books, and understand life, and I come up with this concept. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope this video will, no matter what situation you're in, this video will help you solve it today. Okay, so let's get started with this concept, the cause and effect. So everything in life, as you see here, is a cause and effect. Something happened, and with the mix of something else, with time, you give us the effect. So for example, if this is my parents, my mom and dad, they came together, 9 months, I was created. So I am here. I was birthed. So that was me. Now, as I went through life and I wanted to grow up, and I received critical information through environment, through parents, through life, through everything. This mixture, which is always there is a problem. As a kid, I needed food. I needed to, like, someone to take care of me. All these things is just a problem. If you think about it, it is a problem. And receiving critical information, because all the solutions are critical information. And then with time, I am a solution, which now at maybe I'm the age of 3 or 4. So the problem that I had, which is feeding myself or going to the bathroom, now it's alleviated. It's gone. Now we have a new problem. This solution became a new problem. Now we receive a new information, new critical information. Maybe we are going to school. I need to go to school. I need to get educated. I need to learn this critical information because my parents believe that I have to go to school or something, right? Now, this mixture, which is a new problem, mixing with the new critical information, with time, the pain alleviated, which is me finishing school. Now we have a new solution, but it's also a new problem. This is a new problem, maybe going to high school, or started to feel emotions and I want to be in relationships or whatever it is, right? And same thing, I receive critical information from the outside, mix those new solution or new problem with the critical information, new path, pain removed, new solution. This will take forever. Now, here is the thing that I learned for a fact. It's not because of my opinion, it's not how I feel. It is a fact. This is a fact, which is I was born, and there is a fact, another one, which is I will die. This is another fact. And this fact, it applies to me and to you and to everyone you know, is the fact of the moment, which is now, and the fact of death, which will happen sooner or later. Now, I know this not sounds very pleasant and exciting and self-motivating, but I will show you how this will solve any problem you have in life. Now, let's say I am in this section of life, in this part here, okay? And I feel I'm in 30 years old, right? This is me, and I think I have problems. So let's say the problems sometimes it's a plural, it's multiple problems. And no matter how and where the person is, there is always a problem. A problem of being in a relationship or a problem of not being in a relationship. The problem of not having money or the problem of having money. Sometimes there are problems better than others, but at the end, there is always there is a problem. And in order to remove that problem, I need critical information. Now, here is the problem, the biggest problem to begin with. Most of us, we live in here, in this purple section, which we want the pain elevated. We want this problem that we live in, which is today. So this is today, this section is today, and this is the future, okay? We want to live in here, where the problem is alleviated, it's removed. So we search for information, we pay money, we find solutions, and now we are here, and all of a sudden, we create a new problem. The truth that I learned is the only fact that is real, the only reality that we have is now, which is the moment I'm living in, and the second reality is death, right? Because I can sleep and not wake up tomorrow, or even if I live 100 years, I still guaranteed I will die. So this is a fact that is guaranteed. And the other fact that is also guaranteed is me today, now, this moment, making this video. So now if those two moments are the only facts I have in my life, why I live here? Why do I live in this section? Because of the problem, because of the pain, because I believe this pain that I have of not having the things I want, or not having the relationship, or not having the car or the house or whatever it is the problem, which can be a problem. Now here's the thing. If I live my life in a way where I reverse engineer everything and I say, okay, if death is guaranteed, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna live and find out what does this mean? When I die, what's that look like? What's gonna happen after I die? What's gonna happen when I die? What do I want after death, right? Like the aftermath. And this will become the biggest problem I have. This problem, no matter what I'm going through today, the biggest problem is gonna be this one, right? And when I do that, everything, no matter how hard the situation I am in, everything will become easy. Everything will just go away and disappear because I am focused on what's gonna happen to me after life. Now, if that's my focus, I will start to find critical information. I will start to seek information, and those information will come to me in different forms, because sometimes it's just asking the questions, answers will come to me. And this is what I did in 2020. I moved to Houston and I did not know anyone. I didn't have anything, and COVID happened. So that was the first time in my life where I stayed at home. I don't know anyone, and I stopped drinking, I stopped partying. All of the pressure and the numbness that was pressuring me, it's gone. So I started to ask myself these questions. It's like, okay, COVID happened and it was a fear moment, but I said, it's like, okay, if I'm gonna die, let me work on finding some questions, finding some answers. I don't have to find the actual exact answers. I just need to ask the right questions, which was this. Is like, okay, I'm gonna die, so let's find out about this question. Sometimes I don't have to seek it. It will come to me in different ways, in different forms. But what that did to me made me do two things. First, it did not remove fully the problems I'm in. Like, let's say I have lower back pain. My lower back pain is still there. I still have it. But if I live in the moment of my lower back pain, I still have my lower back pain. And in my mindset, it's like, I am not dead. I'm still alive, so I'm not in here. So I get myself back to reality, to today, and I say, okay, what critical information I need to cover myself if I die? And then the second question, what critical information I need to elevate and remove the lower back pain that I have in my back? And what that did is removed all the noise, remove all the idea of how big it sounds like having lower back pain, or have not having something. It removed these ideas because it made me think about the death, as long as I'm not dead yet, which is fine. And even if I die, because at some point, if I get to a point where if I say to myself, it's like, okay, if I die today, I'm actually good. Like, I'm fine. When that happens, nothing will be a problem anymore. So the only question became to me, like, how can I find the critical information that this solution, which is death, is not going to be a problem anymore? So I need to find that critical information. And that made me ask different questions, like what's going to happen after death. And that's where everyone will come up with their own solution. So I will let you find your own solution. I'm not going to answer it for you, but this is something I went through, and it's been very helpful to remove the anxiety, remove the stress, lower the depression, lower the feelings that we have about fear, including fear. Like, I don't need to be fearful if I know I'm gonna die, and people before me dead, and people after me will be dead. So I don't need to fear anything. I don't need to have anxiety. And it's easier said than done, because that's the reason I'm making this video, because I want to remind myself of this concept that no matter what happened, if that's the focus, and then I reverse engineer and come back, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna enjoy myself finding a critical information to fix my lower back pain, because I'm alive. I'm excited to have a problem of lower back pain, because I'm gonna find a solution, and then I'm gonna find a different solution, and I will be excited about it. And when I'm excited about it, I'm having fun with the problem and solution. It's gonna be more fun. It's gonna be more exciting, more fun, not hard. No matter what is your problem or you're going through, and we all have problems, this thing, I hope will help you to elevate and remove that pain. Now, here's the thing. So first, the principle that I mentioned here is, I called the only two facts are today and now, this moment, and the second fact is death. This is a principle that I lived, and I try to remember every single time I live my life. So this is the first principle. The second principle is, if you think about it, we said there is a critical information here, right? There is a critical information that will solve my problem that I struggle with. The layer, the separation here between me and this critical information is ego. Because ego is the biggest enemy. Why? Why it's the biggest enemy? Now, everyone has their own belief system, but if I believe, based on my belief system, that the reason why we are on Earth to begin with is, at some point, Adam was created, which was the first human, and someone had ego. Someone was asked, which in that case is a jinn, or people think it's angel, called Gazgazel, and he refused to prostrate to Adam. And because he refused to prostrate to Adam, he was jealous from Adam as a very unique creation of God. And he told him, I will not prostrate for you, so I'm going to also take you out of heaven, because God put Adam in heaven, and God told Adam not to eat from specific tree, but he ate from the specific tree because he was pushed by the devil. Now, also, he was pushed by himself, basically. And because of that concept, if you think about it, the ego was the beginning of all suffering. Ego is something, it's a feeling that has inside ourselves, and the ego usually block us from receiving these critical information. At the time, the ego caused the devil, or Gazgazel, to refuse to prostrate to Adam because he believed he's better than him. And that situation created us today and the suffering and the things, or the beauty of choices. And it's all part of the plan. So I think ego is a huge part of receiving this critical information, because if we don't have ego, we will end up really finding the critical information and the solution, hopefully, that will get us to a point where these critical information will serve us when we are dead. And that is something I always work on and improve in my life. So that's the second principle. Ego is the root of all suffering. The third principle that I like to share with you is intention before action. So let's say I have a problem here. My problem is struggling with stuff. And I want a solution. I want to remove this pain. This path here and this mixing with the critical information. So let's say if I have the problem, right? And I receive the critical information, and I hopefully don't have the ego, so I'm willing to receive that information and change myself. There is another factor of this equation, which is intention. So even if I don't have an ego, if my intention is not the right intention, I may not be able to remove and reach to that new solution. And that is so important. Intention before action. Now, here's the part that I got mixed up with in my life, because I always thought is like, okay, action is actually what's more important than intention. That's true if we don't believe that there is a power outside of us that knows already our intention. Because sometimes I don't know my intention, but there is something and someone outside of ourselves that already knows what we're gonna do and what's our intention are. So sometimes it's good to start with the intention and ask myself, why do I want to solve this problem? Why do I want to be fit? Why do I want money? Why do I want to get in relationships? Because if my intention is not right, I may not get it. And even if my intention is right, there is a possibility, which what happened to me actually. I wanted something and my intention was great. Was not like I didn't want to hurt other people. My intention was good. But I think God had better intentions for me. He wanted me to see this. He wanted me to realize and see this point that is a fact. And he came to me in a way that is, it's like, look, I'm here. Yes, I understand you're struggling with this and you're struggling with this. I'm not going to solve it for you, even though you have good intention. But I want something better for you. I want you to be here. I want you to understand this point so deep, and then maybe I will solve some other problem for you. And I will get to a point that even if I solve the problem, it will not matter anymore, because I don't really want it, because I want to focus on this. I know this sounds negative and not very pleasant and self-motivation, but it is actually motivational, because it made life so much easier to have this visual in my eyes. It's like, okay, I always try to get back to here, and the second point I get back to here. Now, death, now, death, now, death. If I have these 2 points, nothing will be challenging and hard for me. So now you're asking how this actually solved my problem. Well, I just found that when we have a problem and we are stuck in a problem, if we focus too much on it, on the problem, sometimes that will make us blind from finding the actual answers, finding the things that around us, in front of us all the time. And that's where, when I was stuck in simple problems like lively desires, lively things, and we all need them, we all are human, we want things. But when I was stuck in these things, I couldn't see simple things. I couldn't see what is the purpose of life, why I'm living, why I will Like, these things are fact. I don't need to have a degree in science to know that someone will be dead. I don't need to have a degree to see there is a sky, there is me, there is so many things around me that I don't see. So the last principle, which is the contingency, I call the contingency or the domino effect. So think about this. Let's say if I have a domino and they are here one after another, like bunch of dominoes, and after like there is no end to these dominoes, but there is also no support system. What happens if I push these dominoes? What happens if there is no wall or support system at the end? They all going to fall. They all going to fall like this. None of them will stay up. Now here's the thing. If I have the same dominoes, but at the end of the dominoes that I don't see visually, I don't see that end, but there is a wall that is supporting the last domino. What happened all of a sudden when I push the dominoes near me, they will all stand like this. They will stand this way. And I'm capable of seeing this domino in front of me standing. So what happened in life, I will be searching and spend all my life searching how this domino is standing and how is getting this standing from the next reason. So probably if I'm here, I will find the domino standing like this, and I find the domino next to it is the reason, I believe, is the reason why this domino is standing, because that's what I see. I see this second domino is the support or the reason of this domino standing. And that is the concept of cause and effect. That is what we spend our life, what science, what everyone in life that you know or personally, spending their life trying to find this domino and how this domino is the reason of why this domino is standing. Now, what if I skip all these dominoes and I see the last wall? There is a last wall that is helping all these dominoes to stand. And I come to it. I come to the cause and effect from an angle of, I do believe there is a wall, and the only reason why all these dominoes are standing is this wall. But because I am living in life and I want to use the cause and effect factory in my life, I'm going to study why this domino is standing, to next to it, to next to it, to next to it, while having in mind having the first principle of there is a wall that is making all these dominoes standing. So to summarize what I just said, the cause and effect is real. There is cause and effect to every single thing. Why I'm dropping this? Okay, gravity. Why is gravity? Oh, there is God that created us. Because at some point we have to still keep going back and back and back in the cause and effect. And guess what? We'll never end that until we get to a point for the last wall. There is one thing, one continuous, never beginning, never ending God who created all these dominoes. That's why we are standing. That doesn't mean I don't have to study or learn about the cause and effect. It's just part of life that I have to learn the cause and effect and learn it and use it for my own advantage and self, with the mind that there is a creator and also there is death moment. So I hope this video was helpful, and I hope one day I will get back to this video to refresh this information, because I guarantee, I know for a fact, every day there will be new problem. Every day there will be new solution. Nothing is the end. The only end is when we die, and it's not the end, it's actually the beginning of new life or eternal life, hopefully. So that's about it for the video. Now, if I want to summarize this is the bonus part of this video, the only 4 things that are problems that most people suffer with, and we are too, is the body, which is health and fitness, the relationships, emotional, friendship, stuff like that, the business and money, and mental spiritual stuff. Those are the four things that most people have problems with. Now you have this framework in your life. You can identify them clearly just by identifying your current state, where are you today, and then adding to it, where do you want to be, plus where do you want to be when you die. And those are the three questions that I add. I used to say where I am now and where I want to be, that's it. But now I added to it a fact, which is I will die. So when I put this third one in the equation, a lot of solution, a lot of things will go outside of my categories of how I can solve a problem. So I hope this video was helpful, and I will see you in the next one.